to another episode of Around the Edge. Tom Ahles, managing partner here at Edge Home Finance. Get to sit with my pal and local mortgage broker, Alex Mysinek.
Got it.
Alec, where do you live? You're on the west side of town, or east side of town, right?
Yeah, Richfield.
Richfield. Okay, that's not even east side. That's central. Good.
Yeah.
Richfield's still just a booming area too.
Yeah, we're right on we're right across from Giordano's.
Good.
So got that spot, and I think we bought it in like 2018.
So made some nice appreciation in the last 5 years.
Not too bad. Before that, I lived in Prior Lake in the Lakeville area.
Good. Well, one of the things why I love doing these is I get the opportunity to really meet and talk with some of our brokers that I've never got a chance to really talk to. You and I, the only time we have ever talked is when something's on fire or we're trying to help fix an issue.
Yeah.
But give me a little background as far as, where you grew up, if you went to college, how you got into the mortgage industry. Give us a little rundown on who you are.
Yeah. Lakeville. Graduated in 2003 from Lakeville. Right after that, I went into culinary. So I got my culinary degree in Denver. So I went out there, did a lot of skiing.
Nice. What school?
Johnson Wales.
Okay.
They're actually closed in Denver now. So they have one in Providence is the main one.
Yeah.
And then their competitor, or the other one is the CIA, or the Culinary Institute of America. So graduated from that and just kind of went into the restaurant world, worked my way up from dishwasher, line cook, stuck there for probably 5-6 years and then moved on to sous chef. Did that for a couple of years at a couple of restaurants in the Twin Cities. And then I was an executive chef for probably about 10 years. The most recent one I was at, I was a corporate executive chef for Nordstrom for a little bit.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, how cool is that? I love... To me, I actually have a client right now that's the head chef for the parent company that owns Sixsmith and Bolomar, I think is the name of the company. But if it didn't have, obviously you get accustomed to a lifestyle and you have to make the money you need to make to keep that up. If money wasn't a factor, that's my dream job. Not only do I love cooking, but I like it when it comes time for that rush, right? Because you need to be able to know how to handle chaos and stay calm, plus keep the rest of your team in order, right?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's amazing how much stuff you have to juggle. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. If I wasn't getting burnt out, my body wasn't getting destroyed after 15, 16-hour days, then I probably would still be doing it if they maybe, the compensation was a little better too.
Yes.
But,
it's tough. The guy that I'm working, I can't say it because I already said his name, but the pay is not well enough for how hard those people work. But I've found that a lot of people that come from service industry do well in the mortgage industry because it's still service, right? You're still preparing something that you want your customers, your clients to be happy with, right?
Yeah, and kind of how I've ran my business is being a chef is very much systematic. You have to have systems in place for every single thing that you do. Yeah. Obviously, I mean, you can't be there 24/7 watching your crew, so they have to know every minute of the day what they need to do and what's expected of them. So taking that to an operational standpoint in the mortgage business is just kind of it's just kind of that's what you can model.
Yeah,
and that's kind of how I model my business from. So. And also not having to work in a kitchen for 16-hour days is coming into this industry and with people are saying, it's so hard, you work so, you're working all the time, all that stuff. And it's just I go back and remember what the
what working all the time means.
I remember that was, I'm hey, this is cakewalk. If I need to send a pre-approval at, night at 9:30 from my couch with my son is not really too much work.
No, it really isn't. Really isn't. We're fortunate to be in an industry that is so rewarding where we get to help people and get paid well for doing it.
Correct, yeah.
So how did you get into the mortgage industry? When was your, what year? Tell me about the first company you were with and what brought you into this industry.
First company I was with Gold Star Mortgage. That was a very short stint. I think it was 4 months, didn't originate a loan.
When was this?
2020, December, I got licensed.
Okay.
So that's when I got hired on there.
What got you to that point to even thinking about it? How did you get into the industry?
So, so my sister and brother-in-law, they own a pretty big, real estate business and brokerage in Minnesota, the Drosha Realty Group. So just kind of been in that ecosystem, watching them kind of, just do their thing the entire time. And kind of was envious of not being able to be with them like all the time on like, family, trips and going down to Florida and being like that. And just the lack of freedom that I was always, having to take off work or, having to cut trips short, things like that.
Yeah.
And we were in July, usually every single year we get a cabin somewhere up north and we're just hanging out. And one of my buddies actually got into the mortgage business and hired my then girlfriend, now wife, as an LOA. So they're going through, and he reached out to me by phone because he knew I was up at the cabin with Daniel and my sister, and said, "Hey, like, can you introduce us? I'd love to, kind of get into to have a conversation with Daniel and kind of see if we can help grow their business and all that good stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And then once I did that, I just kind of sat down and thought. I'm just like, what did I just do?
Yeah.
And I was like, so, I had a conversation with my wife, and I was like, "Do you think I would be, good at this? Like, do you think I could do it?" And she was like, "Yeah, absolutely. I think you could, crush it." So I really just went on by myself and just took the test and studied and didn't really tell anybody, any of the family. And then once I got licensed and went past that, I approached them and just said, "Hey, I'm going to go into the mortgage. I'm going to go to the mortgage business." So I was actually I did all of that while doing my full-time operation manager job. I was at Fairview Hospital then. So okay. I was overseeing 5 hospitals and all of their nutrition departments, making sure the food, all the food was prepared for the guests or for the patients. So and I did that, dual for 6 months, didn't originate anything. And then after I closed my first loan, that day I quit.
That's awesome.
The full-time job. Had no expectations of anything from, the family for, giving me business or anything like that. And I knew I just had to earn it. So
good. Well, so I did a short stint at Goldwater or Gold Star.
Yeah, Gold Star. And then moved to cross country. So the whole stint was at cross country.
Yeah.
For almost a year. And then I came over here in July of 2022.
Yeah. What was the driving factor for you for leaving, a retail company? Obviously, cross country is a good company. A lot of loan officers, I assume, good support. What was kind of the driving force for you to where you started to look at the broker channel, in particular, where you started looking at Edge Home Finance and thought it would be a better fit for you?
I've always had kind of if I knew I was going to do something, I always had that kind of entrepreneurial mindset. So I kind of wanted to run the business how I wanted to. Yep. Like you said, they're a great company. They have awesome support. Nothing really bad to say about that. But when it came down to the point where if I needed a pricing exception or I needed to be lean on a loan, trying to ask for pricing, money, all that stuff, and it was just getting really hard, especially around that time when I made that switch. Last July was right when we started
watching
getting that higher rates.
Stupid.
Every single loan I was getting shopped on. Every single loan I was getting destroyed on pricing.
Yeah.
I probably lost from the time where I decided to come over. At the beginning of that year, I probably lost like 8 to 10 loans to other companies, banks, credit unions, things like that. And, one of my other loan originators at the company said he was going to make a move over here. And so kind of, told me to follow him. And I just kind of took that leap. And like you said, it's funny what things you're told about, the broker channel when you start making that move or when you start, echoing that you're thinking of it, and just all of the things that they're putting in your head about, no support, lack of being able to talk to your underwriters and, processors and things like that. And it's actually the complete opposite.
Yeah.
I'm closing loans faster. I'm closing them way more efficiently. My stress level is way down. I remember looking back on some of the files back at cross country, and it's just I would be up in the middle of the night and my eyes would just shoot open and I would have to run downstairs and do something. And it's here. It's I don't even have those nights, and it's just because I think of the support that I get on the back end from them, from upper management and and the owners and leadership here. But then also just being able to run my business how I want to. If it's my processor's not doing a good job, I'm not getting assigned a processor.
No, you can fire them, you can hire them, you can
pick my processor,
use third party, you can use Processor Assist Plus. to me, that was one of the, I would say, the biggest things when I founded Edge, feeling the same thing that you experienced is what I experienced. And it would drive me nuts. Things that were just common sense. Like, okay, great, we're not making 10 grand on the file, but who cares? If I can make 3,000, if I can make like $100, like, but I can serve that client to know that if a customer does 11 transactions in their lifetime, is it a short-term play or long-term play, right? And I think you and I, because you told me what year you graduated, you're probably, what, 40, 39?
38.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got a good 30-some years left in this industry, right? To where the long-term play is right now, there should never be a reason that you lose a transaction due to price, and you don't need to ask anyone. It's you. It's your compensation that if you're gonna, if you're gonna work for less and then build that relationship for the future, you shouldn't need to ask a manager whether or not you can or can't. I mean, I think that's, as rare as what it is, it should be common, right?
Yeah.
And we're watching retail originators leave in drones because of this, because, for any industry, and especially right now when we're slow, right? I mean, I don't want to, we're still doing well. I mean, you're still doing well, but compared to what it was in 2020, when it was you couldn't have a conversation with your mailman without getting a refinance, right? And refinances right now are dead for the most part. I mean, far and few between, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But just being able to have that ability for optionality, really running your business how you want, it's good to see that you see the value in that, because to me that's key, right? I think people don't work with Alex because of Edge. They work with Alex because of who you are. But you choose who you partner with to make sure that value proposition is aligned to what you believe is going to give you the best service to your clients.
Yeah, I believe that. And then, I mean, I'm not transactional whatsoever. I know that it's all about relationships in this business. And I mean, like you said, I had a deal this year that I would have lost 100%. And not only would I have lost it, my realtor would have lost it because of nothing with our bad on our end or anything like that. Something came up with the client. They had to spend some of the money for their closing costs on a car to get their, to run their life. They had to buy a car. They got in an accident. They didn't have the best insurance, all that good stuff. So now they, a couple weeks before closing, they were $4,000 short for closing costs. And I would have lost the deal at cross country because there was no way that we could have dropped the comp there. Here, I just made the decision. I talked to them. They had a kid on their way in 3 months.
Did the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, I just lowered my comp.
That's awesome.
Turned to borrow paid, dropped to $4,000, made $500 on the deal, and now they're raving fans. Absolutely, and they're friends of me. And it's just it was actually more satisfying that way than
100%. That's the part that I can't teach. Right, that comes with the character of you as an individual, actually caring about the person more than caring about yourself. I'm a big believer in, if you've ever watched, there's a book or a movie called The Secret, or even I'm a big B&I guy with Giver's Gain. It's all kind of the same thing.
Okay.
If you do well for others, whether you're a spiritual person or not, the universe pays you back, right? It always does. If you do right by people and you put them first, your business is going to flourish, your relationships are going to flourish, and you're going to continue to grow. So I got to ask a question. You said your wife was an LOA. Is she in the industry now?
She was before. She got out, I think, almost exactly around this time last year.
Yeah.
Because we were having our son last October. And then she hasn't gone back yet.
So she's a full-time mom, though.
Yeah, right now, full-time mom. She's going to dabble in maybe getting some kind of life insurance and stuff like that. So then when I'm doing the yearly mortgage reviews, I can just ask them about some things like that. And see if there's something we can do.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that you've been able to not only find success enough in this industry to find your niche, but also for your family, right? And now your wife can be a stay-at-home mom, because raising kids is no joke. It really isn't.
No, I probably wouldn't trade with her.
Yes, me neither. I tell my wife that all the time. She's like, it's ridiculous. People say that I don't work. Do you know? And I look at it you couldn't pay me to do that job. I just couldn't do it.
And we don't have the right equipment at the beginning, so it's
that is true.
It's pretty.
That's a valid point.
Yeah.
We won't get into that one. That might get a little too political if we go down that rabbit hole. But good. So tell me, not to give real specifics, but has your business picked up since you've come to Edge?
exponentially.
Yeah.
I mean, I had probably one of my best months ever in May. I blew my goals out of the water, and I just keep on growing. I mean, I definitely think that's just kind of like the freedom that I have to kind of run my business how I want to. And then, just kind of be entrepreneurial, put my money where I want to. I can, spend on certain spends, things like that, marketing, market myself how I want to. And I just, it's definitely just opened up my ability to do what I want to do in my business and help that grow, for sure.
What are your goals with that as far as like your own business? I know, and I'll just say, because it's not like I'm not much older than you, but I remember when I was your age, which was not long ago, 5 years ago, I had goals of things that I wanted to accomplish that I thought were like long-term life goals. Yeah. And then I realized that you accomplish those things way faster than what are life goals. Like, right, obviously for you coming into a new industry, you've built yourself up already as somebody who has a good reputation where people like, know, and trust you, right? So you're hitting some of the professional goals that you've hit. What are some of the goals that you haven't obtained yet?
I mean, obviously I want to help as many families as I can each year. Really a main goal, and it might sound corny, but right now it's like just focus on being kind of like the best dad I can, just kind of learn that aspect of it. I mean, my son's my world right now, so learning that aspect of it and being able to just provide him whatever he needs going forward. And if I achieve that, then, that's good enough for me. Yeah. On another aspect, I don't know. I would like to grow my team a little bit more, be able to step back a little bit, and then also be, in the same sense, be with my family a little bit more as well. Just travel a little more. That would be a good goal.
Good. I like it. Well, hopefully your travel this year includes our event we have coming up in October for Las Vegas for our Fuse event.
Next year.
Okay.
It literally falls over. My son was born on October 5th.
Oh, well.
I cannot miss his first birthday.
I understand. So. My daughter is September 22nd, and it used to be that week in September, and I was like, this isn't going to work. Yeah. And then I ended up bringing her with, and she had a blast. But
the next year, even if it falls over his birthday and like on, birthday 2, we can bring him to Vegas. We can just go
hurts
there.
To take a family vacation. It's a eligible tax deduction. By
not
the
way.
First,
not the first one though.
No.
So,
No, good. Well, I look forward to seeing you there. As far as like clients you feel that you serve the best, knowing with the knowledge set that you have, with the optionality here, give me an idea of like, what is your perfect client?
I really like first-time home buyers, teaching them, kind of guiding them through that entire process. It feels like you get more you just get more from it, like emotionally with them, and an attachment. Yes. Relationships are better, and it's gonna serve us better down the line. If you get a borrower that's like super well qualified, has got a ton of money in the bank, just super easy, even all alone, that is just they're super appreciative and nice, but it's a completely different when you help a family that didn't know that they could get into a home,
100%,
and get them into that dream home, and it's a lot more satisfying that way, because that was kind of the reason why I loved being in the restaurant industry. It's like that gratification of making people's night, making them, feel, super important, and, loving that dish, and seeing smiles on the faces when you're doing table touches, stuff like that. That's like my gratification in this industry that way. So
yeah. Good. Yeah. I like to hear that. I think it kind of can tell like who your character is. It's like being of service to others, and not chasing the dollars, but understanding that, it's the oldest saying in our industry, your network is your net worth, right? The more people that you can help, the more your network grows, and the more that they understand, wow, not only do I like this person, but I trust them. And I think that in most industries, even the one that you mentioned your wife getting ready to go into, I've worked with so many different financial advisors that I can tell their main goal is to make a commission, right? And you can just read right through it. It's so obvious, People run from that. And there's still a lot of those actors in this industry, in the mortgage side of it, where I'm proud to say that I know you because of the character that you show, and just who you are naturally. I think that's part of what our culture has been here at Edge, is really good people doing good things, trying to help others. And when we say growing a team, the great part about growing a team is you're teaching others with that same mentality, right? How to be of service and helping them with issues that you've had in the past. So, as far as production this year, how are things been going for you? I mean, where are you? You said you had your best month in May.
Yep, I think I did 17 purchases, which was not too bad. Not too bad
That's
at all.
awesome for just getting into the industry, and to be transparent, you do have some great relationships within the family, but they're not even coming from there, right?
No, obviously it's a majority or one of the main partners, but no, I definitely have leveraged. I started off the business and, with, getting a lot of business from my sister and brother-in-law and stuff like that. And then I was always doing like the cold callings, and I was always taught every single Monday to pick up the phone to start calling, realtors. And that's like literally like the last thing that realtors want to hear is, calls on Monday. So I took that a little bit different way and started going through like the MMI and going back through all the previous transaction listings and stuff like that. But that also boils down to you just having to do a good job on. If you didn't do a good job on the jobs that you did before that, they're not going to even pick up your phone. So that's what I really leveraged, is really calling and reaching out to those listing agents, either in the process now, which I'm doing a lot better job of, but also if I didn't do a good job of talking with them or trying to build a relationship during that transaction, going back to the old ones and just trying to respark that. So that's kind of my main focus now.
It's good. I think, a lot of the people miss the boat on that because it's like, even if they're a listing agent, they still have buyers.
Yeah, for sure.
It doesn't, and when you impress someone with the way that you operate, it's on an individual level. Like, how do you communicate? How do you share information? So, man, that's all good things. August 23rd, you coming to our event on August 23rd in Michigan?
I am not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we got to get you coming to a couple more events. So I
know.
Having the little one. How old's your son?
He is 10 months right now.
10 months?
Yeah. So
such a fun time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
In their life.
Just learned how to, he went from like the army crawl, but now he's actually got the arms in there and the legs. So it's just crazy how fast he is. So, he's going to be walking in the next like month or so. So then, then we're really in trouble. Ugh. So we're behind the 8 ball of getting like all the gates up and all that stuff. So that's like our main focus this weekend is just baby proofing the hell out of the house.
I don't know about you, but when you grew up, did you have a baby-proof house?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
My mom was pretty, but I don't even think that like kind of like the stuff that we have now
didn't even exist.
Yeah. So I think it was just kind of you touch the stove and then you learn not to touch the stove again. So
that's kind of it. I still tried to parent that way, and my wife is like, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah, that's the same kind of thing with me and my wife.
Some of the things that I'm great at, some I'll just say no. My wife has a title of director of safety in our house.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That's not my forte. Yeah. But well, good. Well, Alex, I appreciate you giving us some of your time here this morning. I'm going to end it. No, I wasn't finished.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Just interrupted me. Great part. Now you got to edit that part out.
Okay, sorry.
Edit that part.
Sorry.
What did you have?
I was just gonna. How are you marketing yourself? Like, are you using social media? How is that impacting your partnerships with lender or with realtors? Your posts on social media.
Yeah.
Those help at all?
Social media has been. I don't know if it's helped grow my business with a transactional number. I think it's helped me be a little bit more
visible.
Yeah, visible with like kind of like referral partners and or maybe even like clients that I'm in contract with. If they maybe had a inkling of maybe going to shop at Wells Fargo or something like that. Maybe if they see a video from me and they I think it builds that rapport.
Humanizes you more than just somebody who's doing a job. You're actually a person, and they can tell, especially with how you treat them, that you care about them.
And because I was behind the 8 ball. But before I got into this business, I did not really like social media. I was not one to post anything at all. So now it's just a different reflex of mine to even just try to think about videoing or doing kind of like videos like that. But I'm leaning into it now. I'm actually going to really, I think, focus on that really hard for the next like couple years. See where it brings me, and hopefully, even if it doesn't do anything for my mortgage business, if I can even document, the life and stuff going through it, I think that will be kind of a win there. So
yes, and it'll be neat for your kid to look back. Yeah. To me, that's kind of what I've liked more than anything now, because my daughter was born 13 years ago, right? Soon to be 14 years ago, right? When kind of social media came out. So it's been fun watching the memories on things that we didn't have growing up to where like probably a good thing too, that we didn't have social media when we were growing up. But at the same time, it's neat to see a lot of those memories. My last question for you, and then we'll wrap up here today, unless Jake has anything else that he wants to add. We have a lot right now. We're one of the fastest growing brokerages in the country, right? And it really is from attracting retail originators that see a lot of the same things that you saw. If you had something to say, if there was someone like trying to sitting on the fence, waiting for something to change, what would be your advice to them?
I mean, if you listen to everyone around you, what they're, trying to influence you on, I mean, if it's telling you not to do something or saying a negative, response about something, and they're in the same world, and you're hearing positive things about all the people that are in the world that you might be thinking of, so if you're in retail, you're hearing all this negative things about the broker world, there's probably a reason for that. They're probably trying to turn your attention away and keep you in that, in that space. Yep. I would just say do it. I mean, it was probably by far the best decision that I've ever made going into the broker, and especially coming to Edge. It's just, made my life more fulfilling and being able to help more families. And if I didn't do that, not only would I be making less money and not being able to help as many families, I would still also be probably stressed out and not being able to be the, manager of my business. Because right now, if something goes wrong or if I'm stressed out, I can only look at myself. Yeah. At retail, it was all, the branch manager or the other manager, the processing manager, things like that. You always had someone to blame other than yourself. So extreme ownership on the brokerage side, and you can only look at yourself and point your fingers at yourself. So
it's a thumb pointer attitude. I think that's, to me, once again, the culture that I've tried to create, which is the same way that I operate, is exactly that. Yep. The complete ownership aspect of all parts of the transaction, right? Even things that are not our fault still should be our fault, because I can give resolution to that issue. You had an appraisal come in short, great. As a broker, I have the option to, let's order a new appraisal. Granted, if it's an FHA one, it's logged with the case number. But on conventional loans, that happens. Income isn't seeing eye to eye with an underwriter. I've got 115 other banks that might see it eye to eye with me. Yep. We don't give up on one shot. So good. Well, thank you again. Appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for tuning in for another episode of Around the Edge. We'll keep bringing some of our best team members, sharing what it is that they're doing to dominate, really just getting an idea of the character of people that we have here at Edge, and I think the world of you. So I really appreciate the trust you've placed with us to partner with your business. And if there's ever anything I can do to help you, I hope you know my door's open.
I appreciate you.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.